at yesterday. So we were looking at the different cultural concepts of the African people, like animism, totemism, and such things. And now we need to look at some other aspects like their religious practices, or better say magic and religion of the African people, and also their mythologies. Each of these indigenous people, they have their own mythologies, and they are very significant or relevant for their life and culture. So we need to have a look at that. So today we will be trying to see the magic and religion, and also the mythologies of the African people. So what do you understand by magic? What is magic? I'm sure that you all have been to certain magic shows. What is magic?
Something unusual and extraordinary.
Something extraordinary.
What we can't get.
Okay, so magic means we used to go for some magic shows where they exhibit certain performances which cannot be grasped easily by our senses or our intellect, like some supernatural things they are showing there, something extraordinary they are showing there. But when it comes to ritual, when it comes to magic as a ritual, so some kind of illusions they are showing on the stage. But when it comes to the ritual of magic, there are gestures, words or actions. They are done separately or together, and that kind of actions are believed to invoke a direct assistance of supernatural beings. Okay. What the magicians, the modern magicians would be doing is like they also show some kind of gestures and take out a rabbit out of the hat. They pretend to recite some kind of magical formulas, magical hymns, and they take flowers out of nowhere. So such things they do. But as a practice of ritual, as a ritualistic practice, magic is considered to be gestures, words and actions which are performed separately or together, and they are believed to invoke the assistance of the direct assistance of supernatural beings in human affairs, or to give control over the secret powers of nature. So using some kind of magical formula, some kind of ritual performances, they believe that they can control the nature or control the affairs of human beings. Or they can control the secret powers of nature in order to intervene in the affairs of man. So that is the way we should understand magic in the traditional sense. Means magic today is an art form, and it is performed on the stage and also otherwise. It amuses us, that is all true. But when we come to the magic as a ritualistic practice, it means very often we say black magic. There is black magic and white magic. So that magic is performed in order to invoke the direct assistance of supernatural beings in human affairs, or to give men control over secret powers of nature. In another sense, magic may be defined as the art of living in intimate union with nature and sharing and using the secrets of nature through ritual, some kind of ritual, doing some kind of rituals. The magic proper according to the Africans is like living a life which is very intimately associated with nature and making use of the powers of nature using some kind of rituals. That is the way the Africans consider magic. And the rituals are always there. For doing a magic, there are certain rituals. And in Greek, ritual comes from the word rite. R-I-T-E, rite. Not R-I-G-H-T. That's a different thing, though it is pronounced in the same manner. Rite, R-I-T-E, that means something means the right of the way of doing something, right? And it comes from a Greek word dromenon. So the Greek word for right is dromenon, which means the thing done. So to do something, the thing done. So it is dromenon, That means the thing done. And according to Freud, magic may be defined as wish fulfillment through ritual. Wish fulfillment through ritual. Okay, that is how Freud, Sigmund Freud, the great the father of modern psychology, he defines magic. Magic may be defined as wish fulfillment through ritual. So, what is rite? Rite is a feeling or reaction expressed in an act. And Greeks call it dramenon, a feeling or reaction expressed through some kind of action. And in magic, spirits are influenced by appealing, cajoling, reconciling, conjuring, or subjugating them. So there are spirits in nature which can be influenced by appealing to it, cajoling or reconciling, conjuring or subjugating them. So there are different ways to control the spirits in nature. Okay, and magic may also be regarded as a strategy of animism. When everything has spirit, when a tree has a spirit, I can control the spirit of the tree to do something. Rite is a feeling or reaction expressed in an act. And in magic, the spirits are influenced by appealing, cajoling, reconciling, conjuring or subjugating it. And it can also be regarded as a strategy of animism. Okay, and Sigmund Freud, he defines magic as wish fulfillment through ritual. And Freud's remark on the correspondence between the things desired and the thing done in the ritual. So there are things desired and things done in the ritual. If you remember, have you seen the movie Bhool Bhulaiya? Bhool Bhulaiya? Have you seen that movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Actually, it is actually there is a Malayalam film, and it is a remake of that Malayalam film. I have not seen the Bhool Bhulaiya. If you remember the climax of that film, do you remember the climax of that film? Where there is a desire for that woman to kill her husband based on certain narratives, and through a ritual she feels like she has fulfilled that wish, but actually not. You understand? So I was just trying to draw a comparison between the Freudian understanding of magic, or how there is a correspondence between things desired and the things done in ritual. So when she does that in a ritualistic setting, she gets healed. So that is what the film shows. So that is the way how Freud tried to define magic and rituals. When we say magic, it is not just one thing. There are different kinds of magic. There is magic, which we generally say white magic, or sorcery, which we consider as black magic, and there is also another thing called divination. Okay, so what is the difference between magic and black magic, or magic and sorcery? What is the difference? Magic generally includes, when we say in general, it includes all these things: magic, sorcery and divination. So magic includes sorcery, but there are certain nuances that we have to understand. There are certain distinctions for this. So magic, those which are intended to have a beneficial effect. Okay, magic or white magic which is intended to have a beneficial effect. But sorcery is intended to do some kind of harm. Or black magic, it is intended to do some kind of harm. So means maybe magic may be performed in order to appear, in order to acquire a boom, or in order to get rid of a disease that I am having, a sickness, in order to get well from a sickness. So it is a positive effect. But black magic or sorcery is intended to do some kind of harm. Means when I perform that magic, the intention could be like my enemy should die, or my enemy should fall sick, or he should become weak. So that kind of negative kind of effect. That is the purpose of sorcery. And the magician actually serves the community, and he performs rites to promote fertility and to avert misfortune. So that is the role of the magician in the society. He is actually doing a service to the society, and it is a public way of doing, but the black magic or sorcery is always done in secret. It is done very secretively, and no black magician would like to appear in front, because it invites certain punishments. So we'll just try to see the difference between magic and black magic. So magic are those which are intended to have beneficial effect, but sorcery is intended to do a harm. And the magician is doing a public act. The sorcerer, it is always a private act. It may be commissioned privately also, because those who perform it, the magician, or those who commissions it, they never want to publicize it. So the magician mainly serves the community, but the sorcerer is employed privately, serving one man to do a harm on the enemy. And the magician performs the rites to promote fertility and avoid misfortune. Sorcery is desperately feared by the African, despite the remedy of counter spells worked by another sorcerer. So sorcery is something that has a very deep impact on the minds of the Africans. And the profession of magician is held in high esteem, but the sorcerer profession, on the other hand, is often an underground one. It's an underground activity, and it is not only ill-regarded, but may suffer persecution by the magician. If it is known that he is a sorcerer, the magician would punish him. But whereas the magician is also a priest and promote the welfare of the community as a medicine man healing the ailing. So when somebody is falling sick, they will be brought to the magician in order to get them healed. So that is the way they are different for the Africans. There is one more thing I would add. Sorcerer is also sometimes called as poisoner. So when I perform a black magic, if I am a sorcerer, if I perform a black magic, somebody who commissioned me, somebody who paid me for that will want a result. So somebody must fall sick or somebody must die because of the effect of my magic. In that case, a sorcerer will be doing something. Maybe through magic it may not happen. So maybe I will be adding some poison to their food or water so that they all fall sick. So that is also there in that. Like the role of the sorcerer is to procure somebody's injury or death by poison or by prostrating fear the sorcerer instills. So in one of the communities, which is known as Niamsi of Western Tanganyika, means to read these terms are a bit difficult. Niamsi of Western Tanganyika. In that, among that people, the sorcerer is called Losi. L-O-Z-I. The sorcerer is also called Losi. And in their language, in the language of Niamsi, Losi means a poisoner. He means a poisoner. So Losi is a name that is derived from the root poison, which means poison. However, the user may be the one who seeks the use of sorcery. They may consider it as something beneficial for them, but for the others, it will be something adverse, something damaging. So, rightly or wrongly, he lays the blame on the misfortune he has suffered on another enemy. So, if I come across some kind of misfortune, I lay the blame on somebody else. I believe that he has done some kind of sorcery against me. That is why I am suffering. That is my, I lost my crops, or I am not able to hunt anything, or I fall sick. It is all because of some kind of sorcery performed by somebody against me. So, in order to retaliate, I also approach a sorcerer and I try to do some kind of sorcery against my enemy. So there is a kind of feeling of justice being restored. That is the way the Africans think of magic, black magic, and their function. Who is a diviner? You have heard divination. What does it mean, divination? So divination is considered something like a science. So diviner is a practitioner whose science is exclusively focused on divination. So most of the time the magician is also considered as a diviner. Magician is also considered as a diviner. So divination is the practice of seeking knowledge of future or something unknown through supernatural powers. So I don't know what would happen to me, or maybe I don't know what has happened to my child. He is missing for some time. So I need to find him out, or I need to know where he is. So I seek the help of a diviner, and using certain techniques, the diviner will interpret the fate of the particular child or my fate in the future. So that is divination. It's the practice of seeking knowledge of the future or of something that is unknown by supernatural means. That is divination. That is also a kind of magic. And there are different ways of doing it. Among one of the tribes, the way is to, they used to throw bones, throwing the bones. Throwing the bones is a magical procedure of divination widely practiced in Africa. In many of the regions of Africa, throwing of the bones is a magical procedure through which they practice divination. So there is a report from Gabon. So their apparatus generally contain a basket of bones, a basket of small bones. That's a report that comes from Gabon. So it's as reported from Gabon, the diviner uses a basket of small bones, which is also known as ngombo in their language. The bones number about some 90. They are small objects, and all these objects have its own meaning. All these objects within the basket has its own meaning. An example could be a small carving of a crouching dog. It represents the soul of the dead. A small carving of a crouching dog. It represents the soul of the dead. A human figurine represents a child. A human figurine represents a child. A long silver bone represents a traveler. A long silver bone represents a traveler. And there are so many other things, and each of them has its own meaning. And depending on the position, depending on their position in the basket, the diviner interprets a person's fate. So they will be positioned in different ways at different times. So when they do something with that, it will have some kind. When they throw it in the basket, it will take different positions. So depending on the position, from the wealth of their knowledge, from their tradition, they interpret the fate of a particular individual. And probably it resembles the methods of our fortune tellers. In our land, we have fortune tellers who read the cards or who read the palm, or means there are people who read the lines on the palm and interpret our future, interpret our fate. So it is something of that sort. There are certain practices among our culture also which like divination. So it is something similar.